Okay, everyone. Welcome to rounds 2 and 3 of the Yale Undergraduate Esports Club Fall 2020 Solo Duo Tournament. Tonight we have teams Ethan G and Avatar playing against each other. Yale Undergraduate Esports Zone. Yvonne and I will be casting this exciting match.
Exciting.
Very exciting. So far we haven't quite started pro draft yet, and we're waiting on both teams to ready up. And once that gets going, we'll start with some commentary on the draft.
Wait, Jeff,
Mhm.
when
What's
you
up?
had everyone name their teams, did you purposely have them name them A through H?
Yes, that is what I said.
Your brain is so big.
You're so dude. Okay, but
You
anyways,
really
looks
just
like our draft has started with Team Ethan G pulling out the Hecarim ban against Dats GG. Avatar retaliates with the Fizz ban for Marsh Padillo, presumably, but we haven't had a chance to see them play Fizz in this tournament yet. Ethan G bans Camille, Koro Basne's most played top laner. Team Avatar bans out Bard, Banthonic's one-trick champion. So we haven't had a chance to see Banthonic's Bard yet, and I wonder if we ever really will. Yvonne, are you here?
I am here. I have no commentary because
Okay.
you're too big.
Cool. Okay, Ethan G retaliates with the Amumu ban, leaving up a lot of strong top laners in Kale and yeah, pretty much Kale, who Mauricio can play in the top lane there.
Looks like
Team
they've banned
Avatar
out.
retaliates by banning out Kale themselves, which is very interesting because I thought that Kurobazne was looking to pick that Kale for himself.
I think maybe with the first pick going to Team Blue, they didn't want to risk the Kale.
That's true. But with that though, with the Kale and Camille bans, Ethan G picked another contested top laner in Bali Bay. So typically top lane is something you want to counterpick, but it looks like Ethan G went right ahead and picked that up right away. So I wonder if that will spell disaster for them down the line.
I think the Amumu ban is pretty interesting. I haven't actually seen D4TGG aka Paul play Amumu.
Me too. He's been popping a lot recently, especially in our tournaments, but I don't really understand why. Because in one of the games we saw last night, Trundle really took advantage of Amumu's weak early game and just invaded him um, throughout the tournament. Team Avatar picks Cloud as the counter pick in the top lane for Volibear, and also Sejuani. So that melee synergy in the top lane is really good because with melee champions, Sejuani has a much easier time getting her stun off.
I'm definitely seeing a lot of Sejuani picks this tournament. My team and how you like that both have played Sejuani. Makes for a pretty strong team fight if that ult lands.
Right. Ethan G picks out Vi, matching the jungle pick. I think that Vi is probably one of Ceratosaurus' most comfortable jungler champions. So um, I'm curious to see how he'll do on this.
How does Vi do into a Sejuani? Because I know Ceratosaurus likes to play J4, so I'm surprised he didn't pick that here.
Yeah, so in the early game, I think that Vi has the advantage against Sedrani. Of course, like neither of us are really jungle experts, so this is all pretty much speculatory. But Rek'Sai actually picks up or Ethan G actually picks the Rek'Sai. Now I'm very confused as to what their composition is going for here. Um, the Rek'Sai was meant to be an Echo pick, so I think Marshmadillo is looking to play Echo in the mid lane, and we've seen that be a very effective force for Ethan G, and oftentimes that Echo ends up being their strongest member of the team.
And Nunu pick by Team Avatar.
No,
What
that
do
was
you
also a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, Average U was looking for Yuumi there. Um, so Yuumi seems to be a choice that accentuates the Kled pick here, in that by attaching to Kled, he makes Kled really annoying to deal with, and that's just something we see with Yuumi in general, is really enabling those bruisers who just want to go in and fight.
I mean, Kled by itself is already very annoying, so I can imagine with the Yuumi attached, that's going to spell disaster.
For sure.
But Oriana banned by Team Ethan G.
Yeah, they might be kind of scared of Lucy's Oriana, but I'm not sure that's what they should be prioritizing here.
To be fair, she's been practicing a lot. She's been working hard. No other comment.
your silence speaks volumes as to the impact of Azuxa's Oriana. Avatar binding out the bot lane with Rakan and Ashe picks, and it looks like their strategy they're going for is to get rid of any of the easily accessible hard CC that Ethan G can pick, because a CC'd Yuumi is a dead Yuumi.
I just noticed it looks like Ben's Rakan is also being banned.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was talking about earlier with the easily accessible hard CC, because that Rakan W is really annoying for Yuumi to deal with. Ethan G bans out the Morgana, and I think they think that Azuxa is a Morgana mid player, which really isn't the case.
Do they know? I
Even
can see
Azuxa's support Morgana leaves something to be desired, but in the mid lane,
looks like
that's really not something you need to worry
mid.
about. Yeah, I think it was a mistake to leave up Swain instead, which is perhaps Azuxa's most feared mid lane champion. What are your thoughts on that, Yvonne?
I think her Swain is, decent. I think the Morgana ban was definitely a mistake because I don't think Lucy would have even thought about picking Morgana into an Echo. So, kind of a neat ban there. If anything, I would have banned out the Swain or the Lissandra.
Yeah, I agree. Those are the two mid laners I've seen Azuxa play the most. So I'm not quite sure why Ben, who's also played with Lucy a fair amount, decided to leave those two up.
He was probably an Ethan ban. I think if Lucy,
Okay, Ben opts for the Leona pick, a very strong pick, and a very devastating one for Yuumi too, because that flash Q into alt into E, with that they have a lot of pressure just to kill Vayne in the early game. Or sorry, kill Yuumi.
really.
And then the Vayne pick is not really something you see with Vayne, but it's pretty accessible against Yuumi, seeing as Yuumi is very weak in the early game. I think that Vayne might have the chance to just scale up.
Didn't have a range advantage at all against the Vayne.
Kind of, yeah. So I wouldn't say it's not exactly a range advantage, but Jin with his additional movement speed and just the power of his individual shots has the opportunity to just kind of go in and out and poke with his super strong fourth shots. But at the same time, we saw the wait, something weird is happening. Um, I hear the champion select music, but I am not actually in champion select.
It doesn't look like on my League of Legends page. It doesn't look like they're in Champ Select yet. They might have started and then restarted.
Interesting. Oh, okay, I see. But yeah, looks like they're just about to hop into Champion Select on the League client. So we'll just stay here so that we have a better analysis of their picks, keeping in mind that Rek'Sai is actually Echo, and yes, Nunu is actually Yuumi. You're right. I'll turn you up on the mic because we seem to have some comments about you being too quiet. But yeah. So we've seen the Yuumi Jin bot lane in the past, and it doesn't seem to be particularly synergistic. I remember in the first game that my team played, we took advantage of the fact that Yumi Jin just does not really have much synergy at all. So I wonder if Team Avatar will be able to make that work. Um, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on some of the matchups in this game, just like in each of the lanes individually?
No comment on top lane. I don't really have any expertise on how Volibear goes into Kled, but I think in the mid lane, Lucy overall plays a pretty passive game. I think Swain was probably a good pick into Echo. She has good sustain. And I think later on, if she builds, I don't know, I've seen a couple like tankier Swains. If she builds a little tankier, she can easily be a frontline team Avatar. Um, that could be a really annoying target for Team Ethan G.
Yeah. So just going back to the top lane, I'm not very familiar with the matchup either, but just keeping in mind the rank differences. Ethan legalized ranch is a silver top laner, but I believe that he plays at roughly a mid to high gold level, while Kuro Bazane is a diamond 2, diamond 1 ish top laner. So I'm kind of worried for Ethan G. I feel like he's had the misfortune this tournament of being placed against a series of really good top laners.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that apparently all of our Grandmasters, Masters, and Diamonds all main top lane. But I think Ethan has done a pretty job holding his own, picking pretty tanky champions and having an impact later in the game.
Yeah, I
Hopefully,
agree. He's really been doing
yeah.
the best he can in those types of situations. In the bot lane, I think that Vayne and Leona really has the advantage. Especially if Vi pops in early, a quick flash Q onto Yumi from Leonin can spell a guaranteed death onto her and pick up some early kills on main, who might roll out of control.
My question about the Volibear Kled top is, if the Kled does really well into the Volibear is likely begging for a gank from Vi. Do you think Vi will be focusing top or choosing instead to help the lanes get ahead?
Yeah, so just from the games I've seen from Ethan G in the tournament so far, a lot of times it seems that Stratosaurus opts to try and bail Ethan G out in the top lane, but so far I don't think that strategy has been working out for them. I remember in some games they just end up getting counter ganked a lot, and it ends up being really disastrous for Stratosaurus in general.
I don't I don't actually remember Ceratosaurus focusing top at all. I just remember him hovering bot and letting Ethan get snowballed.
I think that was in your game in particular, but I'm referencing the one from last week where um, Ethan G was really. I think he was playing something into Mango Stalker's Teemo, and his jungler Hector just kept on trying to gank Teemo, but Vi was always there for the counter gank, and it never really worked out. So
Yeah, makes sense. Even with the gank top lane though, doesn't Kled have many outs or getaways?
kind of. A lot of those tools that Clyde has are really more so for engaging. Um, his E, for example, is at 2 dashes, but it always dashes through the enemy, so it's not quite as useful as a traditional escape tool. After he hits level 6, it is pretty easy for him to get out. But knowing Korobazne, I have a feeling that even in those situations, he's going to look for the outplay in that gank and look to 1v2 the enemy top laners. So I wonder if Ethan G will expect that or really just try and press the numbers advantage to shut down the fun.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd also like to point out Marshmadillo on Ethan G does a really, really good job roaming into bot lanes and other lanes and always being there for counter ganks as well. So his positioning is pretty good. So if Lucy doesn't put enough pressure on that mid lane, I think we can easily see another Echo snowballing.
Right, I think that will be particularly pronounced in this game, where, as you mentioned, Swain is one of the tankier mid laners, and Echo might just have a hard time solo killing Swain in general. So I wonder if we'll see more roams from Echo than we've seen even in the past. I have my thoughts on the overall draft, but do you have any ideas for who you think the stronger team is? Just draft wise.
I made this opinion my last casting and I was wrong. I think Avatar has a really, really good engage with the Kled ulti and the Sejuani ulti. Um, so I think in team fights that's going to be pretty strong. I think I think Ethan G might have to like go for the picks on Jin or Kled here.
Yeah, you're right. That's a factor I actually hadn't really thought about is how strong Avatar's engages. I actually thought Ethan G was stronger at first because just like that bot lane matchup just seems so lopsided to me where um, if Vi shows up at all, it's a really easy gank on Yumi if any of them have flash. So I wonder if Team Ethan G will take advantage of that. But If they don't, I think that you might be right, and that just Avatar's ability to really pull the trigger and start those fights whenever they want might be disastrous for Ethan G.
They definitely have to watch out for a scaling vein. And does Volibear scale pretty well, I think?
You're asking the wrong person on this one. Top lane is really not my area of expertise, but I think that both Volibear and Clan, the matchup seems like relatively even to me throughout the entire game, given that the two players have an even skill level, but I'm not really sure at all.
I'm seeing a large pattern of people mispicking on pro draft. Is that just they're picking too late, or it's hard to pick?
No, so ProDraft doesn't quite behave the same way as the regular league client. So even after you select a champion, if you don't lock it in, it just defaults to something random. So it's quite annoying in that sense. It's happened to me a lot as well because I haven't really used ProDraft either.
I'm gonna say I think we should make them just keep the champs next time.
Okay, so it looks like the game is gonna get started. I'm gonna switch our stream to capture the actual in-game League of Legends. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what happens this game. Um, In terms of skin and advantage, it looks like Ethan G has the upper hand. They skin on all five of their champions. So Avatar is definitely outclassed in that department.
Jeff, are you gonna stream it to Discord as well?
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me turn that on. Also, a lot of times my Discord disconnects, so if I stop talking, um, that's why. Everything good on your end? Yvonne?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
I can see your screen. Thank you.
Okay. So starting off, it seems like Team Avatar is looking for an invade. They're picking that bottom choke point, and I wonder if they'll all be looking to go there. Their level 1 doesn't seem particularly strong. Or, oh, actually it seems that Red Team was perhaps just pinging for their players, who might not be as familiar as with how to 5-point their locations for where they should be. And it looks like Blue Team is doing the same, in that they're starting with a 5-point.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Sedge is walking up, perhaps looking for a ward, but Emponic peels back a bit, and nothing really seems to happen in this skirmish. But Sedge does appear to get that deep ward in the blue side jungle, which might be really impactful for attracting the jungler, and ensuring that Team Avatar has the upper hand in just knowing where the jungler is.
Minions have spawned.
We see some emote spam going on from Dablu. Little does he know, we are watching it. So the enemy can't see, we will observe Jin dancing in the meantime. Both junglers are starting in the bot side, which means that they'll likely be popping top, and you might see an early skirmish go on up there. But Sejuani seems to opt for clearing the bottom side at first, so they might reach the top side of the map a bit slower than it does. Yeah, all the lanes are looking pretty even. Korbazne goes in for a trade on the Volibear and gets some chip damage onto them. John, can you still hear?
Yes, your screen's a little blurry on Discord, but that's fine.
Oh, let me turn up the quality maybe. But yeah, the fights all seem to be going like overall in favor of Avatar. So yeah, Swing gets a really good trade onto Marshmadillo there. Leaving Marshmadillo pretty low on health, but he does have that corruption potion to sustain with. He's looking for a gank up top, but Sejuani is also on that same side of the map, so I wonder if they'll be able to do something in time before Sejuani gets there. Vi looks, but she doesn't find anything. Sorry, what were you saying?
And that Cled dash, right? Is that his E?
Yeah, it is. So if
Yeah,
he
let's
hits that
see.
through an enemy, then he can recast it to dash again through that same enemy.
And
Stratosaurus
Vi's
is
looking
looking
for
for
a
another
counter
gank,
there.
but Sejuani is behind them, so I'm not sure how this will go. Sejuani flash Qs in and forces the flash for Stratosaurus, and they might pick up the kill on Valdra there. So I think this is kind of like what we were talking about earlier with a lot of these ganks where blue side not ending up super well.
Yeah.
They were really close to getting
Almost
the
there,
2 for 2 actually, but Sejuani lived with just a sliver of health from that level up.
Yeah, I think Sejuani was really good hovering around that top lane, expecting the Vi to come back there.
Right.
Can you press tab? Who do those
Yeah.
kills go to?
One for Kled, one for Vi, and one for Zed. Surprisingly, the Vayne Leona lane does have pressure here. When Jhin, like by himself, has a lot more pushing power than both of those combined. Leona looks for an engage and gets the stun off of Jhin. And it appears that they have won this trade, but Yuumi does have sustain, as we've seen in previous games. That make her a pretty powerful pick in these lanes where they can't actually get the kill. Vi's looking for the invade in the bot side jungle, but she doesn't appear to have found anything, except for Sejuani herself. There appear to be some confrontations going down in the bot lane, but nothing really happens. Leona gets hit by the Jhin W, getting to the snare, and she looks for an engage just as Sejuani pops in. Pretty bad timing. Probably pops the flash, heal, and exhaust, but doesn't find the Vayne, so I think Team Ethang might have actually gotten the advantage there in terms of some of the spells. But they do miss this, they might be missing this big wave, given that both Vayne and Leona are really low on HP. Legalized Ranch is holding his own in terms of HP at least, and it seems that in these trades, they're going relatively evenly, but may have spoke too soon.
Yeah, Cled's actually a very confusing character. I never actually know how much health he exactly has, because he has like 2 health bars.
I feel like that's something only Cloud players truly understand, is the potential for them to kind of play around with that discount amount to the maximum effectiveness.
Lucy TP's back into lane.
I wonder what that was. Did Marshmallow... Oh no, Marshmallow back earlier in TP'd as well, so it wasn't just Lucy getting pushed out at mid. I was looking for a roam top, but I'm not sure if they'll be finding anything there. We have a request to turn down the in-game volume, so I will do that. I was looking for a dragon. She has to pink down. Sejuani is dangerously close to the area. I wonder if Vi will be able to finish this in time. And it appears she will be, as Sejuani looks into her jungle and for her raptors instead of taking her time to catch that dragon. Yeah, so they successfully got the first dragon. And during this time, Cloud looks to go forward in their jungle.
Yeah, and that's...
Sorry? We see this 2v2, pretty soon will be a 3v3 actually, going down in the mid lane. Cloud does have ultimate, which is a really scary tool for the blue team, and I think that they need to respect that and get out really quickly. The Vi ult hit, or the Cloud ult hits, but Vi manages to turn that around with a 1-for-1 by trapping Sejuani under that turret. So it wasn't too bad for Team Ethang, all things considered.
Yeah, and that first dragon's been really helpful.
Right. In terms of gold team, Avatar is about 1,000 ahead, but once again, I think that like Team Ethang has the advantage in the late game with the Vayne. We've seen some pretty impactful Vayne games in the tournament so far, where if she has a chance to get to like 5 or 6 items, she really just becomes unstoppable.
Jeff, apparently the in-game sound is still too loud. They want to hear your voice more
I'll
than
turn it down again.
the sounds.
Yeah, okay. I think we should do that. Yeah,
Lucy has a kill?
Yeah, so she got that kill in the mid lane as they dove Vine Pitcher.
Ah.
Yeah. Marshmallow is looking for the 1v1 onto Sejuani. I wonder if he'll be able to get that. He does have ultimate, so that's kind of a get out of jail free card for him. But it appears he doesn't want to commit to that fight anymore. Fed and Sejuani are looking in the topside jungle to pick up Vi's blue buff. Echo is walking in to check this, but I'm not sure if this is a mistake. Team Avatar successfully steals the blue buff and is looking for more of the jungle. And I'm not sure if they have the ability to contest this right now.
That's a flash
flashes across the wall. Echo eats that glacial prison and they turn back onto Sejuani. I wonder if they'll be able to pick up that kill. Vi's here to finish Sejuani off, and now they're looking for that kill onto Clyde as well.
Good ult by the Vi through the wall.
Right. It just misses the Echo W stun, unfortunately, and as Clyde remounts, it might be disastrous for Echo as well.
Yeah, and Swain comes to turn around that engage.
Mm-hmm. So that ended up being 2-for-1 in favor of Team Avatar. But Vi is picking up a lot of kills, and she can be a force to be reckoned with.
All that over a blue buff.
Right. Azusa appears to be very heavily overextended here, and is going to look for the flash over the wall, I think. Yeah, and she does manage to get out, but at the cost of her of an important defensive tool for her.
If they go back to lane, does Lucy have a gold advantage here against Echo?
Yeah, she does. Given that she's picked up 2 kills, well, Echo only has 2 assists. So she does.
Hopefully being able to put pressure on that mid lane with her 2 kills will prevent Echo from roaming anymore.
We also see a 2-level deficit for Volibear here, which is really scary for him. Yeah, Clyde is really putting a lot of pressure there. Sejuani is hiding in the bushes looking for a lane gank, and I don't think that the blue team knows this yet. Stratosaurus might continue to look for something here, but yeah, I just wonder how this will go with Sejuani being in that bush.
Can they get the Kled though?
No, the CC onto the Vi is just too much, and with that, Kled hits the Volibear under turret, the Glacial Prison follows up, and they pick up the kill on Volibear as well. So yeah, I think this is what I was talking about earlier with Stratosaurus putting a lot of pressure on the top lane when they really can't do anything with that.
Definitely.
Fiona engaged onto the Jhin, burning cleanse, but they managed to get out relatively unscathed. The curtain call comes out, and both hits have hit Earl the Unicorn so far, but the last 2 go wide.
Looks like Sejuani and Kled are looking for the Rift Herald here.
Leona didn't burn her ultimate in that last engage, so she, with cleanse down, she has the opportunity to go on Jhin and potentially pick up a kill now.
I think back in that top lane gank, you have to wonder why the Kled didn't back off, even after seeing Vi clear that ward.
Yeah, it's because Sejuani was right there, and I guess they were confident they were going to win the 2v2. You see Volibear TP down, the Solar Flare comes out, stunning the Jhin, flash Q from Leona, secures that kill onto Jhin, and without a partner, Yumi's really just defenseless, and is looking for the kill onto Vayne, but she misses it. And ultimately, Vayne ends up picking up a 2v2 double that fight. Great team by EPG there.
Good TV by Volibear there.
Yeah. There's a 2v2 skirmish going on bot, but Echo really has no mana, so Stratosaurus looks for that solo kill onto Swain. He gets it, and I wonder if he'll be able to leave here. Unfortunately not, but Volibear is here to finish the fight onto Volibear. He picks up that kill before Cloud manages to come back. That's really good for Team EPG. Yeah, so with a good 600 bonus gold in Vayne's pocket, she's really strong now. I wonder if she'll opt for the shield bow build, which in my opinion is a lot better as the sustainability is just really important on a hypercarry like Vayne, or if she'll go greedy with the Kraken Slayer for just tons of damage.
And it looks like Swain is TPing top and Kled is taking mid now.
Yeah, it appears that they have made the call to swap. Perhaps it's because Kled is so much stronger, they want to use that strength to contest the next dragon. I'm not quite sure. In the top lane, Legalized Ranch looks for the engage onto Swain. He gets that stun off, and does manage to take a good chunk of Azux's health off, but not without. Team Ethang looks for an engage mid, but little do they know that Dragon is falling as they speak, or as they fight rather. And Azuxa appears to be going for that solo kill on Legalized Ranch, and
Ethan!
oh my gosh. In the mid lane, we have a fight happening under that red team turret, but despite the numbers advantage and the turret advantage, the blue team really just doesn't have the chance to kill them fast enough with Vayne not being there in time. The Vayne picks up the kill on the defenseless Yuumi and on the Jhin, so this could actually be really good for the blue team, seeing as Vayne has picked up another 2 kills there.
Yeah, it looks like blue team won that fight in mid, but Lucy picking up that kill up top.
Right. Our team also gets that first turret, which is another like 500, 600 gold for the red team.
A big mistake banning the Morgana instead of the Swain here.
Yeah, I agree. Ooh, Vayne does opt for that greedy Kraken Slayer, but I wonder if Vayne's positioning in these fights will be enough to carry them through all of that CC and damage with that choice over the shield bow.
Yeah, definitely. What does a Kraken Slayer do?
Kraken Slayer makes it so that every third attack you do a whole bunch of true damage, and it's meant for killing tanks. So it could be useful on like against Sejuani and Swain, for example. But in my opinion, shield bow is just so much better for that shield that it provides and the added sustainability as you build more items. Yeah, so Volibear has lost his last turret trade with that death, and he's really defenseless now if Bud tries to engage on him. And I think that he might just pick up the kill here. He also crossed the wall, and Blast Cone's away. And that Blast Cone was just enough to get Cled off him. So all in all, they just traded flashes there, and not much was gained from either side. We see Sejuani looking for something bot lane. I don't know if they can even win the 2v3 at this point, given how far ahead Vayne is. Vayne does put some damage onto Sejuani, and Fiona does manage to die to the Jhin, but the main just misses the kill on Sejuani. I wonder if he'll continue to look for this 1v3. She autos attacks a few minions, and ultimately does not pick up any kills there, which is quite unfortunate for early Unicorn.
Unfortunately, not strong enough to win that 3v2.
Right. We see Vi going onto the Swain with her ultimate, but I don't know if that will really work out for her.
Cled's pretty strong here. I don't know if that 2v2 is a fight they want.
Yeah. Okay, so just taking a step back now, it looks like the red team is about 3,000 gold with even dragons and that turret advantage, so overall it appears that they're pretty far ahead. I do believe that Ethang still has the opportunity to scale. That puts a lot of pressure on the Vayne, who hasn't quite been able to put enough work by herself yet.
Yeah, and I think the Vayne's going to need a lot of peel later in the game.
Right. She's been doing a good job of dodging a lot of the key engages from the red team, but despite that, sometimes the Vayne's auto attacks don't always reach their intended targets. Okay, Marshpadilla picks up the kill on Azuxa, ults back out, and it's the free 300 gold in his pocket.
Lucy diff, and it looks like those 3 kills weren't enough to put her ahead there.
Blue team, it appears, is trying to set up vision around Dragon, but it's a bit early, while red team, on the other hand, is going for that second Rift Herald. They appear to have caught on, but I think it's way too late by now to make any difference there. So red team does indeed secure that Rift Herald. I wonder if blue team is able to catch the red team here as they rotate towards Dragon, or if they will have to concede this fight once again. Both teams are setting up for this dragon fight. Red team appears to have the positional advantage as they walk into the pit together. And that Kled is just really scary as a frontliner, given that he has 6 skills already.
Yeah, and what we talked about earlier, how red team has a great engage. It looks like their engage is zoning that blue team off.
Blue team doesn't have priority mid anymore either, and as that second rift drops, I think we're going to see a repeat of what happened during that second Drake, where red team managed to use that pressure to secure the dragon. Actually, it appears that Vi is sneaking the dragon here as red team tries to siege mid lane. So if blue team gives up this dragon, it might, or if blue team gives up the turret, it might still work well enough as Vi secures that dragon. So that's a pretty good play. Vi is going to get hit by that Kled ult, even through the wall. It flashes a bit too late to escape it, and with that, it just dies.
That dragon stick would have been great if they got out there.
Right, if Vayne flashed just a bit earlier, I think it could have ended out with all of them walking out successfully, but alas, it was not enough. Sejuani gets caught 4v1, or 3v1 rather, in that fight. So that's enough the blue team to get out from here. Oh, it appears it is, so. The blue team didn't lose too much there. It's 2 for 1, and they traded a dragon for Drake.
It looks like Sejuani was looking for an engage, but her team was too far behind.
Yeah. Echo goes on to the Jhin, picks up the kill, and ults back out, so that was really good from Marshmallow there. Marshmallow is putting in a lot of good work, assassinating those key carries throughout the game so far.
Could you hold on tab for me?
Yeah.
Why is Lucy's Swain always so squishy? I feel like I've seen a lot of Swains and they're quite tanky.
Yeah, I think that I'm not quite sure how the new items work with Swain so far, but here she went for this Omnivamp item Riftmaker. So she has a lot of sustain built into a lot of tankiness built into her sustain in terms of healing, but she's not actually very tanky against burst that she can't heal through.
Yeah, because it just looks like she's getting deleted by the Echo.
Yeah, so Echo is really strong, and I think he plays really to his advantages in those short trades where he manages to hit 3 times and then get out. But aside from that, I'm not quite sure why she's dying either. Echo does have that Magi Soul Stealer, and that's 10 stacks on it so far, giving him that movement speed. Could be really useful. Both teams appear to be neglecting the top lane where there's a lot of free farm to be had. So I'm not quite sure what's going on macro-wise here. They seem to be at a stalemate as Dragon is respawning, and neither team seems to want to consider the possibility of doing Dragon.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Echo is perhaps looking for an opportunity to engage on the Jhin, but Jhin manages to walk alone through that river unscathed. Now that Echo's bot, Sejuani charges forward with that Glacial Prison and looks for the engage on the turret. They pick up the kill on both Leona and Vayne, and with that Echo TP, I wonder if he'll be able to do enough with that ultimate. It appears that they unfortunately aren't able to put enough damage to finish off any members of the enemy team. So that fight ends up pretty disastrous for Team Ethang.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that turret dive was going to go in favor of the red, but it looks like they did a good job with the sustain that red team had.
Yeah, so despite the early advantage that Vayne had, I think that Kraken Slayer was really not the move, given that red team has so many good engage opportunities. So that puts Team Ethang at about a 6,000 gold deficit. The good part is a lot of the gold is on those carries, Vayne and Echo, but at the same time, Kled on the enemy team has 10 kills, and with War Drinker is a really strong force to be reckoned with, given that Bojack provides so much sustain in addition to Cloud's tankiness that I wonder if Ethan G will be able to tread through him fast enough. I think that Vayne really needs to do a better job of positioning here, in that without Vayne, they really have no chance of killing Sejuani or Clyde for that matter.
I mean, it's pretty hard to peel Kled and a Sejuani, right? They can just run straight to the back line.
Not quite. So blue team actually has a lot of frontliners for that Vayne, and so there really shouldn't be a situation where Vayne is in a position where she's getting Kled ulted, because that Kled ult does not go through enemy champions.
That stopwatch buys Lucy enough time to get out there and for her team to come engage.
In situations like this, though, where Vayne is by herself, that leaves her really vulnerable, and if she walks through here, she might find herself the target of the Glacial Prison, but instead, it looks like the red team opts to go onto the rest of the enemy team. They managed
and the
to pick
shutdown
off
goes to Echo.
Right. That's really huge for Team Ethan G. At 1,000 gold on Echo makes them that much scarier against the red team's squishy champions. With that numbers advantage, blue team really has a free opportunity to secure the dragon. Leona tanks the curtain call shots, doesn't really suffer much from it, and as DatsGG walks in for the steal, he managed to get it, and Vayne is not in this fight, just kind of walking around the pit there. But yeah, it appears that without Vayne, blue team really doesn't have the opportunity to do much here. So Adversarius splashes in, and with Echo's help, managed to pick up the kills on Jhin, Sejuani, and Yuumi, and at the same time, Vayne cleans up that last kill on Swain. So despite the fact that Sejuani stole the dragon, they were able to turn the fight in their favor.
Yeah, Echo's really putting in work for blue team here.
Yeah,
they managed
absolutely.
to pick up a kill on Azusa at the very end there.
See, like in situations like this where there's a clear path between Vayne and Kled, those are really the only opportunities that Kled or Sejuani has to engage on them. So Vi ults the Kled, but Vayne was busy getting her honeyed roots, so it appears that Vi died as a result of that, unfortunately. But
yeah, I'm not sure if the grapes were worth the death on Vi there. I think if Vayne was there, they could easily kill the Kled.
Yeah, I agree. But they do manage to kill the Kled at least, and with red team's main carry down, they might have the opportunity to take this dragon here.
Yeah, honestly, maybe trading the Vi for the Kled wasn't too bad after all.
Yeah, but I don't think that Vi had to die there.
Yeah, she didn't.
So Echo's looking really strong now with those 9 kills, those 22 stats Magi's, a Lich Bane, and of course his Night Harvester. And I think he's really scary for those champions on the red team that don't have any match resist, like Jhin or Swain at this point. It appears that blue team is looking for a pick onto Swain, but they don't manage to get it as Swain. Oh no, actually, with the Vi Q over the wall and the ultimate, they managed to at least burn Swain's ultimate and Hourglass. Despite that though, they still managed to pick up the kill onto Swain. Yona goes in on Jhin, Echo follows up and managed to get the kill on Echo as well, so that's huge for the red team, as Kled is on the other side of the map. They picked up 3 free kills there, and Vayne takes this opportunity to... You see, I see. Okay. I was wondering why she was recalling there. When after that great fight, it would have been a perfect opportunity to pressure that second turret in the top lane.
A summoner has reconnected.
I know I might be like roasting Vayne pretty hard this game, but I think that there's just a lot of responsibility placed on her this game to be putting out a consistent source of damage, and so far it doesn't really seem like she's been able to do so.
Yeah, definitely. Jeff, my mom is yelling at my dog outside the window, so I will be muted for a bit.
Okay, Vayne is looking for the kill onto Sedrani, but as she walks forward, luckily Leona tanks the Glacial Prison for her, but she still takes a lot of damage from that trade. So that ended up fairly disastrous for the blue team, as they lost their numbers advantage after that good fight they had earlier.
Yeah, rip Leona.
Yeah, blue team's looking for the engage onto Kled. They force the flash onto her, and that Kraken Slayer is actually coming in handy, as Vayne does have the opportunity there to get a lot of auto attacks on and absolutely shred through that tanky Sedrani.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing a lot of individual picks here.
Yeah.
Over a very extended amount of time, though, so.
Yeah, blue team's closing the gap on the gold lead, and with those additional fights, they're only about like 2,000-3,000 gold behind now. Echo looks for the engage onto Azuxa, pops her, and with that, Azuxa is forced to burn her ult, and despite that, it takes a lot of damage still. So here, blue team has the opportunity just to finish off that first mid tier, and cracking that open is going to be really helpful for them in the rest of the game in securing those neutral objectives in Dragon and Baron.
Yeah, things are looking up for blue team here.
Yeah, for sure. Kled looks for the engage onto Volibear, but doesn't quite find it as Vi comes over to support him. But with Yuumi and Sedrani, they have the opportunity to collapse on blue team as they have the numbers advantage. They burned the Vi flash over the wall and looked onto the Volibear and Leona, but ultimately with those flashes they don't manage to they manage to get away with their lives. With all those ults and such and flashes burned them, it looks like red team might have the opportunity to pick up their third dragon of the game here.
In that 3v3, do you think blue team really needed a flash away? It looks like Vayne was walking up.
Yeah, I think so. I think that by the time Vayne had gotten there, they probably would have lost the fight already. Echo TP's into the Dragon Pit. Oh no, that's Volibear actually, looking for the stun onto Swain, sorry. But she managed to just walk out despite being disconnected from the rest of her team. Blue team is furiously pinging Baron, perhaps looking to sneak that, but red team is all pretty healthy, so I'm not sure if they really have the opportunity to look for a Baron here. They just decide to start it anyways, despite the fact that red team is all on the map. None of them have recalled. Volibear is just chilling in the mid lane, and it appears that red team knows that the blue team is on that Baron. They put a control ward down, and they're certain now of what's to come, and we're gonna see probably a pretty bloody fight in this Baron pit. Blue team secures that Baron, and with that, they appear to be winning this fight with Vayne still up, cleaning up the remainders of the red team, and with that, they've decisively won that fight, not only securing Baron, but also acing the enemy team with 2 members of their team still alive.
Yeah, I think blue team definitely had the position advantage there.
Yeah.
And Vayne did a really good job hiding the 3 people actually going for her right there.
That's true.
Good
I think that red team needs to focus more on just getting rid of that Dane, because after that I feel like blue team, actually Echo's also pretty fed, so blue team, now that they've scaled a bit more, had the opportunity to utilize both of their heavy damage dealers in shutting down the red team.
Yeah, definitely. I can't see you, but 2 of red team members went straight into the dragon pit going for the tankier part of blue team, while 3 went for Vayne, but...
Yeah, I think so. I don't think either the Glacial Prison or the final chapter from Yuumi ended up CCing Vayne, and I think that if they had that lockdown, the fight might have gone very differently. But ults into the Volibear, gets stunned by the Solar Flare from Leona, and ultimately, I don't think he's able to do much here, and ends up just dying to the 3 tankier members of the enemy team.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like blue team was there to back up Volibear.
Right.
Lucy's
We've seen a lot.
fed?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nothing. I was just commentating on Lucy's fed.
Yeah, despite that, she doesn't seem to be able to put out enough burst damage to kill any of the important members of the blue team. I was saying that looks like there have been a lot of Jin picks in this tournament so far, and I think that Jin was really strong at the initial, like when the item rework first hit. But since the Eclipse nerfs, I think that it's a lot harder to put enough pressure on him or with him on the early game to the point where you get strong enough later on in the game.
Yeah, definitely. But if the game goes on for too long and Jin gets strong, I feel like he can be a force to contest.
Right. Okay, with that game on pause, it appears that Vi is looking for something, but they don't quite find it. With HUD down, blue team has the opportunity with Baron to really press that 5v4 advantage and those super minions in pushing. Red team does have pretty good wave play with Swain, but I'm not sure if she has the opportunity to just walk up there. Final chapter comes out and curtain call comes out. Swain is outputting a lot of damage there actually, so they might have the opportunity to kill the Vayne and ultimately not quite kill the Echo. His ult managed to save him, but we saw some really good damage there coming from Azusa as the rest of her team CC'd the blue team. So I think what this game is really going to come down to is whether or not Vayne has the ability to appeal for herself and just really dodge those impactful abilities in this game. If she dies, then as we saw in that last fight, red team has the chance to push that advantage and sweep up the remaining members of the blue team. But if Vayne does manage to survive that initial onslaught, then blue team will eventually clean up the kills with that Kraken Slayer damage really coming in handy there.
Who fed Lucy?
That's a good question. I think it was Ethang.
Probably.
No, this is shaping up to be another really close game. I'm glad that in this tournament so far, the teams appear to be quite even, and we've seen a lot of these like drawn out games where the kills are often even just like one apart.
Does blue team have anything for Swain's healing?
Let me check.
Like a Morello?
Vayne has an Executioner's Calling at this point. Echo doesn't appear to have any... Oh no, they have an Oblivion Orb also for the Grievous Wound, and then Volibear has a Thornmail, so they do have a good amount of healing reduction for the blue team. And they really need it because it's not just Swain that's healing. Yuumi has a lot of consistent healing, and Kled with Conqueror and this Void Drinker mythic that they added all have a lot of healing. So it appears that the two teams are looking for this dragon again. It's sole point for the red team, so if they get this, they're really going to be a force to be reckoned with, given that with that Ocean Soul, they'll have even more sustain than all the things we just talked about in the past. So yeah, we'll see if they manage to find it. Swain hits the root onto a couple members on the blue team, but doesn't manage to find anything off it. The two carriers are dangerously close to Echo here, but they managed to get away with it. Red team is slowly inching forward their positional advantage and managed to get some vision and control of the Dragon Pit. The Vi ult comes onto the Jin, killing him before the fight really even gets started. But manages to get rid of the Vayne, and I think with that, Azusa is putting in a lot of ceiling damage here that is able to finish off a lot of members of the blue team. So yeah, I think it really went as we anticipated with oh, maybe not.
Marshmallow.
Oh my god,
my
Marshmallow really putting a lot of work there, one-shotting that one-shotting the Swain afterwards, but
Almost, yeah.
And with their uncontested advantage manages to secure that Dragon Soul. So yeah, I think that fight really went as we expected. Vayne died, leaving the blue team with no sustained damage, and they really weren't able to deal with the tankier members of the red team with Vayne dead.
Yeah, definitely. I think Kled did a really good job getting rid of Vayne early in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. With that Ocean Soul, red team becomes that much tankier. Kled and Sejuani are going to be even harder to kill at this point, and perhaps Jin will have the opportunity to live a bit longer before getting picked off by members such as Vi or Echo like that.
And so Vi can't ult can't exactly ult the Kled, right? Because the Kled can just...
I think how the interaction works is if both of them ult, they just kind of collide into each other and nothing happens. I could be wrong though. But yeah, that's something interesting. But I don't think Vi's job should really be to ult the Kled because Vi and Echo to a certain extent are the only things really keeping Jhin in check. Azusa gets caught by Q, the Vi ult, and then the Solar Flare, and manages to get picked off before the red team has the chance to do anything there. And so with that pick onto Swain, I think that blue team might be able to get Baron here. Especially because Marshmallow, though in the bot lane, does still have access to teleport. Both teams are at 36 kills now. The gold gap has closed to just over 1,000, so G is really putting in a lot of work in turning the tides of the game around. As red team clears these minions mid, they don't quite have an answer to the Echo split push yet. I wonder if they're going to send anyone down. Sejuani appears to be matching the Jhin. But I'm not quite sure how that will work. Okay, Swain has respawned, and it looks like blue team didn't really have the chance to do anything with that pick onto Swain. So I wonder if a fight will break out at Baron soon. Baron starts the Baron, and if the red team doesn't find out fast, that Kraken's player damage might really spread through that Baron before they can do anything. The cutout comes in and goes straight for that Vayne, as we were talking about. Sejuani steals that Baron, but Bud is able to pick up the kill on Vayne, and they decisively win that fight, I think. With that CC onto Echo, he's forced to ultimate, and despite that, still dies to the Bud. It's 3 versus 2 on the red team now. Vi misses the Q over the wall and dies. Yes. You're muted in case you forgot.
Yeah, with going for the Baron there with Echo and bot, I'm not sure if that was a great idea. Even with the TP, Echo wasn't able to get there fast enough before red team just destroyed the carries.
Yeah, that Cud ult hit really close to Vayne again, and that's just another positioning thing where they can't step too close to the Cud or she's just going to get melted, given that she still has no defensive items, aside from that Quicksilver Slash that she picked up recently. But ult's out, seeing as she probably doesn't need it anytime soon. And with that, red team has managed to crack open the first inhibitor of the game, just as blue team's minions do a good job of finishing off that red team inhibitor as well. Yeah, red team is missing a lot of that reliable lockdown onto main, but they seem to be doing a good job of taking her in these fights regardless. I'm kind of sad that my team is done with tournament matches for the week, because just watching this game reminds me of how tense these games can be.
I'm very happy our teams are done with our matches.
I see. Do you have any particular reasons for that, or?
Not tilted at all.
Okay, I see. Bud walks into the red buff, finds an Echo in the bush, and takes a lot of damage from the Echo. So, despite how fed Bud is, Echo is equally fed and does a hell of a lot of damage with his item still.
Yeah, I really think if Echo had been in that last fight, things would have been different.
Yeah. I used to think that these item icons were okay, but nowadays I just have no idea what I'm looking at because they all kind of look the same. Vince current call comes down, looking for this blow onto the blue team, but ultimately they end up giving up and backing off. Yeah. Somehow, despite their Baron advantage, red team still finds himself being pushed into their base, and with that Elder Dragon coming up, that's not really where you want to be. Red team forces the engage onto Volibear using those tools we talked about, but they don't really find anything. The flash from Sejuani comes out, but she really didn't have anything to get out of it. Cut engages
And
onto the
Echo's
Echo.
gonna get caught here.
Yeah, but with that ultimate, she managed to heal back to full health almost, and runs to meet up with the rest of his team. So that was a really good use of Echo. The Glacial Prism comes down onto the Echo, and the final chapter roots many members of the team. The Vayne is still alive, which is very bad for the red team.
The Swain is dead.
Yeah, Swain is dead. But the Clyde appears to still be running in and killing those carries as Vayne focuses that Sejuani instead of the Clyde. That Yumi's putting a lot of work here in sustaining through all the damage that Vayne is doing, and I think that Clyde is going to be able to remount in time, killing the Vayne, killing the Volibear, and somehow winning that fight. That started out really disastrously for the red team.
Yeah, right there. Vayne maybe had gone for the Sejuani instead of chasing Kled.
Right.
That Yumi attached to that Kled is very, very dangerous.
Yeah. With that red team, I'm kind of having deja vu here because with that fight, red team again has an uncontested path to that Elder Dragon. It'll be so strong for them in these fights. That execute damage is just insane, and with it, I think these fights will be a lot easier for Team Avatar. Yeah, red team's members have all spawned as well, which is really good because it means that all 5 of them have access to that execution of Elder Dragon. So the next fight is going to be really favored for that red team as they have both Ocean Soul as well as that Elder Dragon buff. But so far we've seen them macro-wise not really being able to match the split push from Team Ethang G. So I wonder if they will have the opportunity to push up and really use that Elder Dragon buff. Okay, red team is pushing out through the mid lane. Jin is by himself trying to push out that bot wave and is taking the time to reconnect with the rest of the team. A solo player comes out onto Sejuani, tickles her a little bit, and ultimately nothing really happens. The curtain call comes out, firing onto Vayne. No one is tank. Okay, Volibear does tank the Cut ult and the Sejuani ult, but it's not enough. Vayne still dies from that Elder Dragon execute, and I think that might be good game for the blue team. At the same time, we see Vi proxying that back wave and Echo TPing into the bot lane to try and backdoor. So I'm curious as to how things will end up. Yona rushes in to try and stop the forwards NTPs. He doesn't manage to do anything, and red team managed to win that fight there as well. On the other side of the map, we see a 2v3 going in as blue team tries the backdoor, and ultimately they are unable to find the backdoor. And I think that decisively spells out victory for Team Avatar. So that was a very
high IQ play.
Pardon?
It was almost a high IQ play.
Yeah, but Team Avatar managed to respond to it fast enough with a double TP of their own. So I think it was a really well-deserved victory for Team Avatar, as despite some misplays in the game, they managed to claw back their wins through securing that Ocean Soul and through securing the Elder Dragon buff.
Yeah, definitely. I have to say the blue team put up a really good fight and was able to hold their own.
Right.
But ultimately giving that win over to red team. So good game from both our teams here today.
Yeah. So that concludes another exciting game in our solo duo tournament. I think there's one coming up like very soon tonight. Let me check.
I think if you feed Lucy, you deserve to lose.
I concur.
But good game from both teams.
Right. The next game is tonight at 10 p.m. between Team Guts and Team Vitamin C. So tune into that. We'll be seeing 2 of our varsity players, Min and Lance, duke it out in the mid lane. So that will definitely be a sight to behold. Thanks for tuning in again, and see you guys next time.